welcome to the Grand Collaborations, a part of the Grand Podcast. My name is Niels Tudor Winter and I'm the creator, editor and host of The Grand. The Grand is now open for business and I have therefore created the segment The Grand Collaboration, where I will launch podcast collaborations with partners. This podcast episode is a collaboration between PNO Innovation Italy and The Grand. The connection between proposal preparation and the following project implementation is a crucial one in the funding world. Grants consultancy is not just a matter of charging a fee for the services related to submitting a document to the Commission. It is often a long-term relationship between key R&D stakeholders and grants professionals deeply devoted to the content area in question. SINTEF and PNO Innovation Italy is a good example of this. The Pyro CO2 project funded by Horizon Europe is a result of exactly such a long-term collaboration. In this podcast episode, I have invited project coordinator Francesca Di Bartolomeo from SINTEF and innovation manager Anna Franciosini from PNO Innovation Italy into the virtual podcast studio for a talk about how the proposal came about, sharing about the project itself, and of course to share some reflections from the collaboration. Please enjoy. Welcome to the Grand, the EU funding podcast. This is part of the collaboration series that I run, a collaboration programs where I, in collaboration with partners, develop content for you out there, and have a couple of episodes booked for PNO Italy, PNO Innovation, my former employer. Well, I worked in Belgium, but still part of the big corporation that PNO is. And we're going to zoom a little bit in on proposal development and concrete, how a proposal moves into a concrete project, that process, timeline, what happens. So, and first, I've already been talking way too much. Welcome in, Anna Francesca.
Hello.
Great to have you in. Been looking forward to this. Now, before we do anything else, I want you to kindly introduce yourself to the listeners. And Francesca, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi. First of all, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to join this podcast. My name is Francesca Di Bartolomeo. I'm a senior scientist at SINTEF, located in Norway, in Trondheim, and I'm working at the Department of Biotechnology and Nanomedicine.
Thank you. And Anna.
Hi, and thank you for having me as well. So my name is Anna Franciosini, and I am a senior innovation consultant of PNO Innovation Italy. And I'm located in Italy, indeed, in Rome, and I'm part of this group of consultancy companies since about 10 years now.
Yeah. And you're both very strong professionals. You have a very strong background, both of you. I've been studying a little bit, of course, in preparation for this. So it's always nice to have knowledgeable people around my podcast. Now, today, so framing the episode, so we're going to talk about the PYRO 2 project. We're going to talk about how it was developed and how the consortium is working together to deliver on this decarbonization innovation technology. And it's quite specific what you do, and we'll get back to that, of course, in this conversation. Now, let's just move straight into the next block here, from idea to proposal. And here we're going to zoom a little bit in on how this whole thing started. So what's the background? What's the motivation for what you're doing? Because there's always a story behind any EU project, because goes backtracking, right, before you come to actually implementing things. So who wants to open this up and unfold it for the listeners?
I can start. We started in 2020. So it was quite some time ago, from the proposal development to then the project implementation. And the background is that SINTEF Industry, my institute, it's a quite of a large organization, meaning that it has different departments: the Department of Biotechnology and Nanomedicine, where I'm working, the Department of Process Technology, where my other colleagues that are more working on engineering and processing are also based, and our other collaborators also from other departments that are more on chemistry and catalysis. We form a strong basis covering different aspects of the key technology that are necessary to develop projects of this kind. So the fact that this started at SINTEF means that there were the basis for multidisciplinarity already in-house. So that's the first building block. Second part is that SINTEF as a whole, it's very mission-oriented towards sustainability, towards innovation in general, but also towards industrial innovation. So we work with university, we work with RTOs, other RTOs like us, we work a lot with industry partners. So we are really in touch with more blue sky innovation, but also more industrial innovation to try to understand what it takes to make something closer to the industry. And finally, another very important basis that let us start on this process is that we already have a very broad network of industry partners, consultancy like PNO and Anna, as well as all our colleagues. So we felt that we were ready, and I say we because of course this was a very much of a collaborative effort. I contributed. We are a coordination team, so it's me and my colleagues at SINTEF, the Department of Biotechnology, Nanomedicine, and Process Technology as well, that we developed the core of the coordination and the development of the PowerCO2 project.
Now, Anna.
Yes.
So I'm so happy to have both of you in here because you move into, as a proposal writer and proposal coordinator, also being involved as a partner, you sit with your responsibilities for communication, dissemination, and so on. That process, if you almost become, if you're like a symbiosis, right?
Yes.
You know each other very, very well. I'm not even asking. It's just I'm stating it because that's what happens, right? You have been sitting late nights. You've been frustrated with. Maybe you've been even angry with each other throughout, or you've been to twitch and twerk and have everything fitting and dealing with crisis of budget negotiations or partners that are acting out or whatever. So, and I'm not asking you to share about all this, but can you share about the proposal process and how you work together?
It was not the first time that me or our team collaborated with SINTEF in similar proposals. So I think that it helped a lot because we already knew each other, and there was already we already passed this step of knowing very well the way in which the other works in this type of proposal. So we, as PNO, we were there since the beginning. So I already remember when we started to discuss on things with SINTEF and so on, and in particular in these projects we were there acting essentially as reviewers rather than full proposal writing, because this was mostly led by SINTEF with our support. Apart from that, but we were responsible for the writing on the impact session. So the division of the work was that the coordinator basically deal with the excellence, so the scientific technological part of the proposal. With our support, advice, we also discuss a lot on how to frame the project at best in relation to the core topic, which is the normal exercise that we always do in every type of projects. Our team was more involved in the impact session, which of course is a very important and crucial role, because writing the impact is somehow going beyond the scientific part of the project, but rather placing a project in a broader context of, for instance, European politics, market needs, market demands, and so on. So we of course interact a lot with SINTEF, but of course with all the other partners, because we at the time we need to get some crucial information, for instance, on how to what might be the implication in terms of economic, environmental, and social perspective. And we also worked a lot in order to make preliminary estimation of how this core technology that probably we are going to explain you better in the next part of the podcast, if it was feasible, reliable, and so on. So it was a very intense collaboration with the coordination team, but also with the other core partners.
It's always that. But one of the things, because that I've been in PNO, so I know the organization and I know how it works. And one of the things that a key strength of the organization, but you are one of the strong ones. You're one of the old ones, so to say, in the PNO family. You have a very strong brand, so you have very deep-rooted connection with clients like SINTEF. Yeah? But not only that, it's also in the PNO family there is you lean towards each other, so you can draw on a knowledge throughout the organization. That's at least what I did, and I know you probably do the same, because that's also probably why Francesca and her managers in SINTEF say, okay, this is not just a regular grants consultancy company. This is an organization with a heavy knowledge base internally that can be drawn on if we need it in whatever projects we throw ourselves at.
Yeah, sure, and thank you for highlighting it, because probably
it's important.
It's definitely important. And for instance, I was one of the person involved in this project writing, and indeed I have a background, for instance, in biotechnology and biology, so I knew exactly what they were writing on this project. What was the concept of this technology? What might be the limitations, the difficulties, and so on. So yes, indeed.
Yeah, and Francesca, you can probably confirm. It's one of the things
of course.
In this world, as an ITO, it's easier to swallow paying for things. RTOs understand, because you also are on the market side. You have removed the first bottleneck of we have to pay for this. It's that which makes things much easier.
Yeah, but also for us that we are aware about the costs. It's always like a point of if these kind of collaborations are bringing us closer to get to the objective of having our project succeed, then it's an investment with knowledge, with awareness of also the risks, and I mean the EU world is becoming more and more competitive by the day. The consultancy landscape, it's also becoming very varied. So it's very good to have people like Anna and her colleagues that we've been working together before. The collaboration brought us good result, but besides the project, it was anyway a very good collaboration.
And with that, let's move into having a little bit a talk about what you actually do. So the implementation and the demonstrations, because it's always nice to talk about concrete things. And probably, Francesca, I will hand the word to you.
And speaking about concrete, I mean, this is going to be a pun, but we are building now. We are really constructing something large. So
as we speak.
As we speak, yes. We also have a camera that is giving us 24/7 pictures about the construction of our pilot. But
that's nice.
I think I need to make a few steps back so that the audience can understand what I'm talking about. So going a step back about the Power C2 project and what it means. So the Power C2 project is an innovation action, meaning that we are operating at a higher TRL. So we need to work towards piloting, towards demonstration. And not only it's an innovation action, it's also at the core of the call, there was the the request of developing a demonstration unit that would do a scale-up process to understand if the process that we are following to go from CO2 to acetone, which is our product, is going to be economically viable, technically viable, and can work also within industry sites, and so on and so forth. So basically, we started on a low TRL, not a low TRL, actually, we started at TRL 4, meaning that we had the lab basis on the different technology step. And then during the course of the past 3 to 4 years that we've been working on this proposal, we've been scaling up and working on larger and larger bioreactors, for instance, and also the other technology section followed the scale. And this is an extremely critical time for you, and also extremely excited because we have just phased out from the intermediate scale, and now we are building a brand new lab at SINTEF that is going to accommodate our demonstrator. That when it comes to the fermentation, we are going to have 2 reactors of 20 cubic meter each that are going to be the core for demonstrating the PyroCO2 technology. And most importantly, they're going to give us very precious data that we can translate into industry application and whether we can actually imagine this process to exist beyond PyroCO2. And what we want to do is transform CO2 from a waste to value.
Yeah,
meaning
exactly.
that we can take it and feed it through a process, and then from CO2 we have other molecules that have more value, and they can be transformed into something else.
So it's a biotechnology process.
Thanks to biotechnology, but also chemical catalysis, and thanks to a set of technology, one next to each other and working also in parallel, that can give us the possibility of taking CO2, which is quite strong, resilient molecule to break down. We can do that, and then we can make other materials, other chemicals, fuels, and so on and so forth.
So that, and then it's also about scaling up, right?
Scaling up, because we can prove as many as we want how this is fantastically happening on a benchtop in a lab, but to make it really meaningful, to bridge the gap between laboratory and reality, we need to scale up. We need to demonstrate it into industrial settings. We need to demonstrate it at scale. And this is our job right now.
Yeah. So how far are you in that process? So you said you're building the
We're building. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the timeline? How far are you in the project timeline? Are you halfway through or 1/4?
Yeah, we are quite. I mean, of course, it's in stages. So we are now constructing and building the lab that is going to accommodate the demonstrator. The demonstrator and equipment is already bought, so it needs to be assembled and transported. So just to give you a timeline, we are supposed to be finished with the building in June, July this year, and then there will be some time before the end of the year where we are going to receive all of the equipment that we are going to accommodate and install and assemble in this new laboratory. And then we can think with some buffer that we might be start the commissioning by the end of this year and the beginning of the next year.
So indeed, as was mentioned also before, PNO is a partner in this initiative, and we are in particular leader on the work package dedicated to dissemination, communication, but let me say most importantly, exploitation and replication. So this means that we are basically, of course, not involved directly in the demonstration work that SINTEF together with all the other partners are doing, but rather we are responsible for providing this type of transversal activities that at the end are really crucial to be sure that the results that are gained are can indeed generate an impact after the project end, which is I mean, a very important aspect to be considered in every type of projects, of course. So since the beginning, so we are always active in this project somehow, because as I said, we accompany all the activities together with the more technical partners. And we started to make some what we call technology intelligence activities, for instance, in order to having a better understanding of the environmental innovation ecosystem surrounded this project PyroCO2, meaning that, for instance, we are mapping emerging technologies that can be somehow complementarities or competitive to the PyroCO2 approach. We are investigating what are the what the market looks like today, what are the emerging markets, and also what are, for instance, the key actors, the key stakeholders along the value chain. This allows us to having a map indeed of who are the best organization, the most interesting organization, for instance, to establish collaboration in the future for the future replication and valorization of the results, as well as also to understand better who are the competitors, and in this innovation landscape where PyroCO2 is strategically placed. Because of course, if you know this type of information, you can also act better in order when you design your exploitation strategy, the replication strategy, how to continue this initiative and so on. So. And using this type of results and insights, we also are guiding all the project partners involved in the characterization and understanding the exploitation potential of the results. So we are in regular dialogue with all the partners for indeed designing together what might be a sound exploitation roadmap, where how they can for example, making some activities in order to valorize further these results and so on. We are also doing other activities in terms of, for instance, we set up the collaboration with other R&I projects. We manage this the potential collaboration with other projects that are doing something similar, complementary, where we see there are opportunities to somehow collaborate, exchange, and so on, which is of course very important.
Do you already have some results, and can you already see shaping future impact? A few words on that, Francesca, maybe.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, when we started the project, we focused on the optimization of the existing system that we had, and this optimization itself that brought us to go from a more bench scale to an intermediate scale. It's a very important result. In biotechnology, we have the so-called valley of that.
Yeah.
And it's very famous because it's basically this roadblock that does not allow us to go from one scale to another and then to proceed further. So we see that some of these many valleys, is not only one, has been surpassed. So
good.
We had the possibility to continue developing the bioprocess, for instance, or the catalytic process, and this is, I think, it's a major result. Of course, we are always focusing on what comes next, but looking back, I think there's been a lot of already published papers, for instance, and
I'm very happy to hear this, because I've been doing this podcast for 4 years now, and one of the themes that are recurring is we're talking about impact. And I bet you if the commission, if they're listening, they're also very happy. So it's good. Because
one important thing I would like to add is that one of our tasks has also been the identification of bottlenecks and try to find solutions. This is not something that you can publish. Oh, look, I found these bottlenecks. But this has been extremely important for us. The identification of those bottlenecks, that they just grow bigger and bigger the more you proceed with the scale up. So that also a noticeable result that we appreciate of our work.
So with the reflection section, we started out with this, right? It's a huge work. There's many years of collaboration behind this and so on. So I wanna zoom a little bit in on that in the last part of this conversation. So Anna, can you share a little bit about reflections on the collaboration with Francesca and SINTEF?
I can start for sure. I say that I've been involved since the beginning and also in the implementation phase, meaning that I know already quite well all the organizations involved, what is the role, contact persons, and so on. So probably, if I can make a reflection, is a complexity, but also the other side, also an added value, is the fact that this is a very big consortium. So we have 19 partners, which of course make the collaboration more difficult for definition, because there are more organizations involved. Not always everyone know each other very well in terms of technical activities. But I think that we are, let me say, starting out quite well, because there is a very great management. And coordination team. We are meeting very often, which is of course helps a lot in this, considering indeed this very big collaboration with a lot of organizations involved. I can also say that it is clear that sometimes that's a lot in the collaboration when you already know another organization from past experience, past collaboration. It makes always smoother and easier the way in which we work with. But at the same time, is also a great opportunity for us and for all the partners involved, because we are in a network of around 20 organizations, a little bit less. Of course, everyone covering a specific field, but there is we explore this new way to collaborate, new organization, part of our network and community, which is always something that raise the opportunities to make further work and further scientific collaboration in this field, which is at the end very interesting for us and all the partners involved.
It's a good mirror of my understanding also from PNO. Francesca, do you have something you want to share?
Yes, reflection. So Anna focused on the collaboration, and this is a very important point in order to make something happen. So PyroC2 and many other projects are a brick to build a path towards decarbonizing our society. So this is a big picture, and I want to close the conversation really on this picture, because we need to build bridges between industry, between organization. Projects like PyroC2 are very important for doing that, but it's just one project that it's necessary. It's only one. We need more and more, and a lot of effort to achieve the ultimate goal, that is trying to develop an industry, a manufacturing industry that it's maybe one day fully decarbonized. That's the dream.
It's an excellent ending on a high note.
Yes.
The word dream in the last sentence is wonderful.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a reality. We will see.
There's a lot of work towards it, but there needs to be a dream, there needs to be a vision. Now we have to end this conversation. I would have loved to continue it, but we need to end it up because time is up. Francesca, Anna, it's been wonderful to have you in. Thank you so much. Dear listeners, there will be another episode in this collaboration I have set up here with PNO. So that's so that you can await that, follow that in the grant collaboration corner. Now, I'm not going to do a long outro. I'm just going to say there will be an episode site. So click on that here in your resume where you listen to a podcast. You go here and you get links to Francesca and Anna. LinkedIn site. So there will also be a link to the project. I will exchange with Francesca if I can get that live video there. And there will be links to everything, both to my site if you want to explore my podcasts initiative, and you can explore SINTEF and PNO and so on. So let's say goodbye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
You have been listening to the Grant Collaboration, part of the Grant Podcast. This podcast episode is a collaboration between PNO Innovation Italy and the Grant. All episodes in this PNO Italy series have their own site on the Grant website. You'll find the link for the episode site where you listen to your podcast. On the site for this episode, you'll find links to Francesca's and Anna's LinkedIn sites, and further you'll find links to SINTEF, PNO Innovation Italy, and of course a link to the project website. Next episode will be released in May. Follow the
You
grant on
have
LinkedIn
been
this day
listening to
today.
the Grand
Okay,
Collaborations,
please look
a
forward to
part
that.
of the Grand Podcast.